So like, how do you think about deep tech investing, Chamath, and like where like there's a role for venture capital, private market, dollars?
Yeah, I've done a lot of deep tech investing, and my whole thing was I've always looked at the point where something is completely de-risked technically, and it's about then the exploitation of a market. Otherwise, it's exactly what David said. So I'll give you an example. A company called Relativity Space is now the second most valuable private spaceflight company after SpaceX. Okay, YC company, I led the Series A. What were they trying to do? Their stated goal at the time was we want to 3D print the entire rocket and the entire engine. And I said, wow, okay, well, when we did the math and we tried to figure this out and have the same launch capability as SpaceX, all of it comes down to, okay, well, how do you want to de-risk this? And what Tim and Jordan's first idea was, well, first we want to basically prove that we can actually get a certain printing capability done, because you're talking about these extremely, energy intensive, extremely technical printers and effectively writing printer drivers, right? And to be doing it at a scale where you can hand that off to NASA and they can take that engine, literally strap it down with chains, called the hold down test, fire the engine and say it works.
Doesn't blow up. And I said to Tim, how much does that take? And Tim was like, I could probably do that on $10 million. I said, you're done on $10 million. Yeah.
And
but
so,
if it was $100 million.
The only person that would have written a $100 million check to de-risk that doesn't understand what they're trying to prove at that point in time. Because what he was trying to prove was the ability to use the printer. He wasn't saying, I'm trying to build a next generation rocket motor, right? So similarly with Virgin, Virgin got to a point where it's like it had flown demonstrably in the air. So what did it prove? It proved the flight profile worked. It proved the engine worked. It proved all the navigational componentry worked, and it proved the safety envelope worked, which means that it could basically act as a glider under all kinds of boundary conditions. That's an enormous amount of technical progress. And then at that point, I'm willing to invest billions of dollars. And so to David's point, you have to have
a revenue model early too. Like that's one of the things about being an entrepreneur is figuring out how you stay alive while you answer these questions. And you came up with a brilliant one, or whoever was doing Virgin Galactic, which is people will overpay.
No, but Virgin was a 15-year process where Richard Branson, to his credit, did exactly what David said. Here's $10 million, get to milestone 1. Here's $25 million, get to milestone 2. He did the exact venture capital model. It's just that he did it by himself. I think what David is saying, which I agree with, is you should never short circuit that and say, here's $500 million pre-Series A.
Yeah,
just
I'm
go
agreeing
off.
with that. Sure.
Otherwise,
Magic Leap.
You'll be working at something for 20 years with nothing to fucking show for it, as in fusion, as in quantum computing.
All right.
You end up with a Magic Leap or
Theranos,
or even
Theranos was a fraud. I mean, it looks like it's a fraud, but Magic Leap just looks like it's technically incompetent.
Or it's too hard of a technical problem to solve in the amount of time and
technical incompetence.
Well, I don't know if it's incompetence. It might be a 20-year problem as opposed to a 5.
No, but why are you taking this emotionally? Technical incompetence is the opposite of technical competence. Competence means you can do it. Technical incompetence means you can't do it.
I thought you were saying that group of people is incompetent.
I'm saying the words technical followed by the word incompetence. Technical incompetence.
Okay. When you're saying it, I think you're describing the person, not the problem.
It could have been too hard a lift for them. So,